Today I'm going to be showing you guys a professional look that can be used for interviews or presentations. I'm starting off using the Shape Tape Concealer in Medium Honey on my eyelids as a primer. I'm just putting a little bit on my lids and then spreading them out all over. I'm at my parents' house for the lockdown, so I'm missing a lot of the makeup that I would normally use. For eyeshadow, I'm using a light yellow shade just as a base and putting it all over my lid. I'm using the Morphe 35V palette, but you can use whatever you have as long as you have a couple of neutral shades. Next, I'm using a fluffy brush to put a slightly darker color. This one's closer to my skin tone, and this I'm going to put all over the center of my eyelid. Next, I'm going to find a darker color that I can use for the crease. This one is called In the Zone, but again, you can use whatever works for your skin. I'm just going to go into the crease and put it on the outer corners of my eyelid. Next, I'm using a shimmery shade called Swoon and putting it just on the center of my eyelids. This is optional, especially if you prefer matte makeup and you don't want any type of shimmer, but I always like a little bit, so I'm just going to put some on the center. Finally, I'm just going to take a fluffy blending brush and use it to smooth out the corners and make sure everything blends nicely. Next, I'm using the Kat Von D tattoo liner for my eyeliner. I like to start off doing just both of the wings first, just so I can tell if they're symmetrical or not, and then I continue to fill in the rest. For this look, I'm not doing a crazy wing or anything like that, I'm just keeping it pretty simple. Next, I'm using mascara, and again, since I'm home, I'm just using whatever I have. This one is a Sephora Lashcraft. You can use whatever you like. For a professional look, I definitely wouldn't use fake lashes, especially for something like this. I just think it's better to keep it simple and as natural as you can. Next, I'm using concealer, and I'm using this Medium Honey shade of the Tarte Shape Tape. This is not actually my shade, so I'm just using a tiny bit of it for brightness, and I'm using the YSL Touche Eclat pen instead for the actual shade matching. The thing is, the Shape Tape has higher coverage, but the YSL is closer to my shade, so I'm just doing a little combination of these two. You can use whatever concealer works best for you. I'm just going to use my beauty blender to blend this all out. Side note, it's been so long since I've done a makeup tutorial or since I've put makeup on that I literally just forgot what the word for beauty blender was right now. Next, I'm going in with foundation. Again, this is a Tarte Amazonian clay one. I just have a sample of at home. I'm just going to put some dots and then use my beauty blender to blend it all out. Next, I'm using the Benefit Cheekstars palette. I'm using Hoola for contouring, and so I'm just gonna go in on my cheekbones, on my jawline, and then on my temples. I'm using the brush that came with the palette just because I don't have my actual contouring brush here. It's okay, it does the job, but I normally don't prefer using this one. Next, I'm using a combination of Dallas and Georgia for blush. These are both pretty subtle, they're not too rosy and they're not too shimmery, which I think works well for this type of look. And finally, I'm going in with Cookie for highlight. Again, I don't have my fan brush here, so I'm just using some clean, fluffy brush that I have for highlight. I was actually not too happy with how that brush did, so I just ended up using my fingers for my eyebrows and just to smooth out the inner corners of my eyelid. Finally, I'm going to use a MAC lipstick. This one is called DGAF from their Love Me line. It's just like a neutral brownish color. So that's it, that's the whole look. I hope you guys found this useful. See you next time.